Pentacles.
Yep, we are preparing to go live. We are setting up for YouTube Live.
Oopsie.
Alrighty, and we are live.
Oopsie doodles.
So
See doodles.
usually Jaymi is so great and she'll tell us the day before, sometimes a couple days before, what the card that we're going to talk about is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see one of us looking like this at the beginning of an episode, that means that we didn't pull ours out of the deck we're using. And we're slowly and quietly trying to pull out that card. And the one I'm searching for is the Six of Pentacles. And I cannot find it.
And I think it was a day or two that I said, let's record on Tuesday, which is today, the day that we're recording, and saying it's the Six of Pentacles.
Yup.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
So somebody didn't do her homework.
But yeah, good.
It's not an episode without one of us not doing our homework.
I find it.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, so even better, even better. I got an email this morning because I'm on, the Tarot Ladies Patreon.
Yeah.
And shout out to Teresa, Tarot Lady. Today, the card of the day, March 10th, which is the day we're recording the Six of Pentacles, she drew the Six of Pentacles. So we're in alignment with our friend and mentor, Teresa Reed.
Wondrous.
Yes. And so she's got a lovely image of the writer Waite Smith card on it. And it's, I guess I'll go ahead and describe it since I have the email up and everything. It's got somebody that is dressed kind of more affluent. And they hold scales, and in one hand, I mean, they're also kind of doing the the magician pose. I just realized this.
Right.
Because the scales are up in like their left hand, but it's, it's not how I'm faced. It's, the opposite. So if you have the card, you'll see what I mean. So the right hand has the scales, or the left hand has the scales, and the right hand has like money or food or little pebbles or something falling out of the hand, tumbling down to a person on their right who basically has a bandage, so it looks like they're wounded, and like a blanket that is kind of tattered, wrapped around them. And on the other side of this person, just under those scales, we have another person that has an even more tattered blanket kind of surrounding them. And there are three pentacles aligned above the yellow blanket person. There are two pentacles above the blue blanket person, and then there's one above this affluent style, person. And there's so much that you can read into just that, where, a lot of us say it's like balancing the scales, needing to give back to the community or receive. For me, the key word of this card is reciprocity. The balance give and take. But, the way that the pentacles are showing, it's not 100% even split. One person's getting more, one person's getting a little bit less, and the person doing the giving has just, a little bit left over.
That's one of the things that it reminds me of is some people, I think it's a philosophical thing in the 80s and 90s. Can you actually do a selfless act? Is that possible? Because the mere doing of the act makes you feel better, and therefore it is not selfless. Or it puts you better, I guess, in the eyes of whatever God you believe in. And therefore is like a poker trade. But that's what I always think of in the Six of Pentacles is equanimity. Like if you have, like in this card, there's a big old teapot filling up one person's cup and the other person is waiting. And then there's a third little guy up here who's in charge of it all, and he doesn't get anything, but the joy of giving, is his. So yes, agreed. Totally cool.
And what deck was that from?
Oh, this is the Tarot of the Mystical Moments, which I've had for a while and busted into recently, and it's so good, you guys.
No, I get it. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of sentences out of Teresa's, meaning area, because again, shout out to T for, she does this every day, which is cool. And it's fun to see like what my card aligns with to what, she's throwing out. And I just, again, since she's she's kind of here in spirit since the card aligns. So some of the stuff she says, like there are a lot of people in situations begging your time and attention. You'll need to balance your schedule and resources because, again, Pentacles is all about physical resources, as well as, things to keep you grounded on this earth. So make sure your schedule's balanced, your resources are also balanced, and all this has to be done with care. Again, we're on Mercury Gatorade right now, so it's time for all the REs and not jumping into big things. And I know for me, that's really hard. She also wrote down Six of Pentacles can also indicate generosity. And the last statement I want to say on this is do what you can to alleviate suffering. Again, I think that's important right now because of Mercury retrograde. So let's lighten the load, that and the state of the fucking world, pardon my French, but Jesus Christ.
Girl, that's
Your
not
French is pardoned and well warranted.
I mean, God damn. And I love, how Melissa, you're talking about equanimity.
Yeah.
God, it's a hard word for me to say. And T's got, a lot of that in there. Like, make sure, you're balanced. Make sure that your generosity is kind of on point. And yet also kind of taking care of yourself, because without you can't do others, and the Buddhist path of alleviating suffering, has been something that's been in the forefront of my mind through all the shit I'm going through. So I guess is that a good way to kind of kick this off for everybody?
Yeah, I think so. And the equanimity thing comes because I saw a cartoon once where there was like a short person, a medium person, and a tall person, and they're all given the same size boxes. And the tall person was way over the fence. The medium person couldn't see over it barely, and the short person was still short. And then they got boxes that were opposite. So the tall person got no box, short person got a tall box, and the medium person got a medium box. And suddenly their heads were all at the same level. Their shoulders were back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were given that dignity that comes with good giving, I guess. And that's kind of what this reminds me of, because this is like, obviously these are women in the geisha style in Japan. And their job is to be a hostess and to make you comfortable and to make sure everything is okay. That's their whole job, is to be a hostess. And they do it in such an intricate way that like hundreds of years later, they're still practicing this,
Yeah.
But that's equanimity. That's making sure everybody is okay, and make sure everybody can see. Can we all see?
There's an aspect of that card that I didn't consider until you held it up. Can you hold it up again, please? Sometimes it is about waiting your turn too.
Ooh.
And sometimes it is about, wait, have you waited your turn long enough? Is it time for you to like quietly wait and submissively wait? Or like it's coming, like it's almost like that divine timing, like knowing it's coming and being certain that it's coming, but like having to be patient. Yep, exactly. Yep.
This is a sticker I keep on my desk because I'm having issues trusting my own timeline. Gee, I wonder why. But yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't, feel free to email me.
But this also has the scales in the pot.
Oh,
just
perfect.
The scales are on the pot.
Yeah, I really like that. And it's something that I really hadn't considered. I mean, like you do see it in most Six of Pentacles depictions of like that kind of waiting your turn, but like I never really considered it until that particular depiction. So thank you for sharing it.
You're welcome. I like this deck very much.
Yes.
Jaymi,
which deck are you liking for the Six of Pentacles?
Well, because I, have my own deck, and we're live, I can actually, or we're, recording this live, I will always use my triple goddess as kind of like a baseline, and then I'll always pick another one. So I obviously triple goddess, but I'm also talking about the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and Jonathan Hunt, because it popped into my head when I was like, what's a good, interesting Six of Pentacles? And I was right. So trust your intuition as well as your timeline. So here's the triple goddess Six of Pentacles. So yes, we have the scales, and I can't remember if I told Franco to put the scales above like the parent, head, but we have a tall person, three children, of various genders and all that, and a basket to the side. So it's like one of the eldest child is like passing out discs, coins to each person. And the parent has one already kind of tucked under their arm. Each child has one, the same size coin, the same disc in both hands. And then there's the elder is passing another one to the parent. And there's a last, quote unquote, last coin in the bag behind them.
Mhm.
And because it's been forever since I actually looked at my descriptions and what I sent out to have this done, I kind of, to me, this is a really interesting depiction. Oh, the parent has two coins under theirs. So
That's what I was thinking. I counted and then I went, hold
yeah,
on.
it's like there's only
Wait,
five.
where's the other one?
Yeah, there are two. You can kind of see the edge of another one. And
Gotcha.
you can see it's really hard to see it on the screen, but when you're in person, you go, oh yeah, there is two. But I really like this because for me, I think at the time when I, put this together in 2019 or something, it was all about sharing, and I like the idea of a family structure. I didn't have a good family structure, but I like this idea that in a family, everybody's helping each other out. Everybody's receiving, again, their fair share, that equanimity portion. Hey, I got it right that time, where an adult might need more of the coins or more of the resources because they have to do transactions that are, necessary to the family's well-being. And, and the children don't make these same transactions. Like if I had a child, I wouldn't make them pay for this house, or do taxes or stuff like that. I'd rather that they have, whatever, they're given to work on themselves or find things that bring them happiness and joy. So that's kind of what's going on in this card. And again, it's, more of that sharing aspect that, make sure everybody's got their physical needs taken care of. So with the Six of Pentacles on the trick or treat, we've got this really perfect horror vibe going on where you've got blue and red and all these like red ball lights going on. And we see three folks. So again, it harkens back to the Smith-Waite, the RWS imagery of the middle critter. The middle person is wearing like a big scary werewolf costume, and they have the candy bowl in their lap. And on the right side of the card, we have somebody that's dressed up almost like a Joker cat with their trick-or-treat bag, and their mask or their face is going to the other person, sticking out the tongue. And this person doesn't have a true costume on. They're just, this happens in today's day and age where I see kids of all ages that just have their pillowcase. They come up, they want their candy, and I don't care. As long as they're having fun and they're respectful and they say, trick or treat, or, I had somebody actually give me a joke once, and I gave them,
that's what kids do in Missouri.
Nice.
Yeah.
And but their heads down low because it looks like, they're being ignored and probably not getting candy. But it could be like what Hilary said, waiting your turn, where, the werewolf is engaging with the weird, costume person, cat thing that's sticking out their
costume person, cat thing,
and they're sticking out their tongue. While the size difference on this card too, the one that has no costumes also a little bit shorter.
Smaller,
So it's also that idea of like, well, waiting my turn. I'm always the last to get something, always the last to be picked in in games or, stuff like that. So it really is interesting to see how these images, at least, the three images that we have seen so far kind of correlates back to what we've been talking about in this card. So that said, hey, Hill, what do you got?
And then there's me, who picked a card that kind of deviates a little bit from that. And I think that's the reason why I picked it.
Good.
Yes, exactly. Meow. So I picked from the Mystic Mondays Tarot by Grace Duong. I really hope I pronounced your last name correctly. If I didn't, forgive me. Yeah, so the Six of Pentacles, so the backs, this is the Six of Pentacles in
Very
their
nice.
deck.
Ooh.
And I think I chose this because it deviates from the, the at least
Mhm.
3 figures or more, that give and take. This is more like an arc of pentacles. And there is that sense, there's no scales depicted in the card itself, but it's almost like she is the scale a little bit. It
Yes.
has like that body language of being that centering balanced point. And from the guidebook, of course, you've got giving and receiving, flow and prosperity, and also, cat and face for Melissa. Um, divine balance, creating a harmonious flow. Generosity fills your soul as you realize sharing your wealth with others is much more fulfilling than keeping it for yourself. So again, we're still hearkening back to those same keywords, that same kind of interpretation, those same kind of themes. But this to me is more of a like a holistic visual image of like the give and take that we find
Yeah,
with the Six of Pentacles. And then she also mentions giving doesn't just pertain to money. You could also give your talents and your time, which are equally appreciated. And sometimes we forget about that too, because it's like, it's a Six of Pentacles, it's a Six of Coins. Like it's very like money, 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 but it's just like, but it doesn't have to just be that. And charity or generosity can be showed in other ways.
exactly. I mean, like, when we think of Earth and we think of, the physicalness of pentacles or the coins, the discs, as, some other decks call this, the first thing everybody thinks about is money because money, gets us things, allows us to live, afford rent, food, whatever. But there's also the physical needs of grounding. For me, I need to feel grounded on the earth, like my feet or my hands placed on the earth. I need to remind myself of security. And for me, security isn't about money. Sometimes it's about the people I surround myself with, about knowing how they feel about me and how they help take care of my physical needs of health, health, wealth, happiness. Yeah.
That
Luna
definitely was a
agrees
meow
wholeheartedly with all of this.
Yeah.
She just wants to let you know.
Man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought, when she meowed at first, I thought it was a Lily, and that's why I turned back.
Yeah, I saw it. And I was like, no, that's my little fucking God's
Yeah.
greatest idiot right here.
Yeah. Uh-oh. She's stretching she's beyond the purview of the camera and she's stretching and now she's curled up again. But yeah, she's my little baby, my little Lily boo. All right.
Okay. Yeah. I really like this mystical moments tarot thing because it captures the writer Waite Smith energy in an entirely different way. Every card,
Yep.
it's a surrealist deck, which I love surrealism. Oh, for God's sakes, I think that one aspect that we haven't talked about is to be generous to yourself. So, particularly in times of trouble, it's very difficult to make the time and space to be kind to yourself. I highly recommend it because then you run out of spoons less often. And, trouble shared is trouble halved. So make sure that you're sharing with your friends and letting them know if it's hard for you.
Yeah.
They can help out because nobody can help out if they don't know that you need it.
Yep.
There's a really nice phrase from this interpretation where it's investing in another person or organization is also investing in your beliefs and the future you want to live in. So just as much as investing in somebody else or an organization, like investing in yourself is investing in your beliefs, investing in the future that you want to see and you want to create, which I think we really, really need right now.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that's like, right now I'm going through a lot of, changes and stuff in my own personal life. And as a Gen Xer, we were taught, handle it yourself. However, like house repairs and other things that I don't know how to do, I've been asking neighbors to help teach me or I've been reaching out to them like 4 days a week. I walk my neighbor and her dog, an elderly neighbor, because she wants to, still have her autonomy and still be able to move. However, she can't hold the leash, on a tugging dog, or, being able to pick up, the dog's messes and stuff. So to me and another neighbor named Sarah, shout out to my neighbor Sarah, we timeshare the chore. And occasionally I get to do things like fill up the bird feeders in the front house, yard or the back, or I get her mail for her. And, it's that idea of we have to, help out each other, and stuff. And so I'm learning to ask questions, and I'm learning to, be kind to myself. That's the hard one, folks, is, being the friend to ourselves as we are to other people.
This one says, this is really sweet. Sharing and receiving, blah, blah, blah. The two women are holding their cups, waiting patiently for some tea. The owner of the big teapot pours 6 drops into each of the women's cups. The scale shown on the teapot surface stands for the fairness in the man's distribution. Maybe in the future, the situation will change and he will be the one to need, and the woman will return his generosity. That's also an interesting angle. You never know. People you give to today might be given to you tomorrow. All right, Luna?
Oh my goodness.
Cat.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She's so sweet.
Is she?
She's giving the generosity of her sweetness right now.
Of her purring.
And her purring and her.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, a Pentacles moment for me is being able to share time with the people I care about, where, I often forget that, what's important to me is being able to have time with people I care about. And so when people go out of their way to spend days, or, hours or a couple of days, sleepover or something with me, I will always be grateful. And I always thank or appreciate that moment because, people can choose to spend their time however they want. And for me, it's just a joy when they choose to spend, that time with me. Just like, I'm very grateful to our listeners, both on the audio, which we are still working on trying to get, converted stuff.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. One of our listeners offered to do some conversions for us, however, and I appreciated them. They reached out to me. Thank you. And while I would love to have that, the audio cast needs those front and back bumpers, and which means we need a kind of better producer than me just
we need a professional.
We need
an adult. We need an adult. We need an adult.
John is the most adulty adult in Sonova and crew, I believe. He's all sciencey and nerdy and stuff, so that gives him gravitas.
Yes,
exactly.
Oh, I love that word, gravitas.
Thank you.
Professional gravitas.
Sexy.
Use that in a sentence this week.
Homework. Use gravitas in a sentence.
Use gravitas and equanimity in a sentence this week.
I like to read books.
Ooh, big brains on Melissa here.
So next time we're going to be talking about
sevens? Or wait, no, reading us to sixth.
Yeah. Reading the filth with the sixes. That's right.
Yeah. Can't move on to the sevens until we get smacked around by Melissa and her tarot cards.
Right. And I think we should start promoting that now. So maybe it's not just us that get read to filth, but if we have any, people watching and stuff, maybe they can get read to filth with the sixes.
I'll make strangers cry. I ain't scared.
I think that is one of your taglines for your tarot business.
I'll make
making
strangers
cry since
since 1998.
Speaking of Melissa's, Melissa's professional stuff and her Patreon, I got a sticker for being a Patreon supporter for a whole quarter.
That's right.
So yeah,
you did get a sticker.
If you subscribe, at certain levels, you will get stickers or be read to filth or have certain shenanigans and stuff, with Melissa's lives, which are a hoot and a half, or even plus.
There is now a $2 level on the Patreon that you get your card of the day. Oh, get your goddamn tail off my face. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Did you know that Melissa has a podcast? Did you know that Melissa has a Gee, this feels like a feral session.
It does.
Did you know?
My
favorite parts of our feral sessions, by the way, that happen over on Instagram, about an hour after we do this recording, is people telling your husband that you have a Patreon and a podcast.
Constantly, Jaymi. It's so funny. He'll show
Joe,
up. They're like,
did you
hey,
know?
Joe. Hey.
Did you know that Melissa has a podcast?
Did you know that she's got a Patreon? Did you know that?
Hey, did you know that Hilary has a podcast as well? Friday
yes,
evening,
she does.
Or Friday evening Eastern time.
Yes, my live stream.
And I cry. No, I have a YouTube.
You do so many things, Jaymi. You do so many things. Let's extend the Six of Pentacles and that sense of generosity to saying nice things about each other.
I know. I was just joking.
All right.
Is that Amber? Amber's sliding in at the end. Here I am sliding in at the end.
She's my co-host for the Jamboree, where we get together regularly once a month on YouTube and talk about divination, magic, books we've read, cryptozoology, UFOs. Our next episode's going to be on UFOs, which is going to be fun because I know very little about UFOs except for some of the podcasts I've listened to.
Anything could be a UFO. You're bad at describing something.
Yeah, true.
Right. What is it? Unidentified flying object. Yeah, throw something in the air. If you can't identify it, it's an unidentified flying object.
It's like a bonus because if I take my glasses off, no, that's up close, but yeah, anything's unidentifiable if you have glasses and you can't see near or far. Yeah.
Hey.
No.
I would recommend a tarot deck for phenomenon like that is Dave Zilla's tarot deck. I can't remember the name of it, but it's great.
I swear to God, half of my tarot classes, I'm like, what is that deck? It was by God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
the thing, and the thinking thing.
That's, like when I was on the normal social medias, because I left the big box ones, so to speak.
Fair enough.
In 2025, and I haven't looked back. That's the one pet peeve I had was when people were posting pictures of decks. Once again, this is the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and Jonathan Hunt. When they posted pictures.
I know what your pet peeve's going to be. Yep.
They would often not mention the deck. Sometimes it might be in the hashtags at the bottom, but you have to hunt for those when you've got more, hashtags than you have like the description.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's why I try to use 3. I don't want to be like,
I use 5.
I don't want to make it hard.
3 to 5 is, memorable, memorizable,
Right.
And,
that's a good Amber has a good thought. New term is updated to UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Anytime phenomena is said, I have to do the whole phenomena bit, just the first
phenomena. 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 Please don't sue us. Anyway.
And with that, I guess it sounds like sounds like. So what is a good homework? Because I was just thinking about how can you care for yourself during these crazy times? Figure out your needs, and if you need help, ask for it.
Yeah, hands open, guys. It's also harder to punch people when your hands are open. So gratitude and generosity rather than stabbing.
But stabby so much fun.
It's just a recommendation.
Right?
That's a very strange recommendation coming from a Sagittarius.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to temper it. So,
Well, we already
Fair.
covered that in our temperance episode.
James
She
fucking
said the
funny.
thing.
That's a good
She said the
one.
thing. She
I
said the name of the
thing.
card.
Oh. Oh boy. All right. With that silliness, we'll see you all later next time.